going on, folks? I'm Renegade. Well, I finished another build. The Yamaha Heritage, which I'll show you in a second, is pretty much done. Which means, well, what's next for Renegade? What's next for me in this garage? Well, hang on. Why don't we do things the right way here? Hang on. How's that? A little better? That's right. One of the new things that I'm doing for this channel, I've upgraded my gear. New camera, new audio equipment. Hopefully that means that things are going to be better. What's great is because of course I still have the old camera, I'll be able to actually use it and maybe get multiple angle shots. We'll see. I'm still learning this camera, so if you notice things, you know, focus being racked around, because I'm playing with the auto adjust or the autofocus. So this bike, the 81 Yamaha XS400 Heritage Special, is pretty much all done. I just got a couple little touch-ups to do. Of course, that asks the question, what do we do next? I mean, it's not like I don't have a bunch of project vehicles out there, but I figure as I'm trying to, you know, move forward, do the next thing, as I'm trying to move forward and trying to do the next thing, I think the best thing to do is probably actually to finish an old project. Maybe just finish reviving an old friend. So as I said, this is my 1982 Yamaha XJ600 that I'm very much customizing. For those of you who've not been around for a long time, you might not know the history of this bike. I did start a playlist on it, but frankly, it was a long time ago. And it kind of got put on hold for a bunch of things, life, other projects, etc., etc. But I think we're going to get back to it. So as a slight recap for you guys. Many moons ago, when I was a much younger man, bought my first motorcycle in 2006, 2 days before I graduated high school. Loved the bike, rode it, worked on it, learned to work on motorcycles on that bike. And then it got hit and totaled. I wasn't on the bike. It was actually parked out front of my house, and some little girl claimed she took her eyes off the road for just a second to change the radio station, and bam, totaled the bike. Frame was broken. It was a mess. But as we all know, Renegade's a pack rat and a junkyard dog and saved everything. So years go by, I bought another frame and started rebuilding. So this is essentially all the guts of my original motorcycle. New gas tank because the other one was completely destroyed. Obviously, frame, wheels, you know. But it's still all pretty much the same thing. It's still the exact same engine. But of course, because now I'm rebuilding it from virtually nothing, I get to go custom with it and really do it the way that I wanted to do it. So that's what I've been doing. And I took a long break, like I said, but after working on the Heritage, which is a fairly small bike, you know, it's a 400cc, it's a single overhead cam, whereas this is a dual overhead cam. It's lighter weight, its geometry is pretty much the same, a little different, but its engine power is lacking compared to my Maxim. Kind of made me miss my Maxim, not gonna lie. It actually made me miss it quite a lot. I loved riding this bike. Back when I had her on the road, she was a great bike, great for blasting around town. Even rode it to DC. It was a 4-hour ride on the highway, which is kind of scary because it was basically a little cafe racer, and yeah, it was pushing at about 100. That was about as fast as this bike would go. And traffic was doing about 90, and as you imagine, not much leg room to go. But still, I immensely enjoyed riding it. So when this bike got hit in total, it was really a sad thing for me. And like I said, unfortunately, I put working on it on hold. But it's time to fix that. Now, again, continuing the recap of what I've done. Completely rebuilt the engine. All new bearings, all new rings, all new gaskets, the whole 9 yards. And now, of course, I'm hoping they're going to work because they've been sitting for a while. Rebuilt the exhaust. Rebuilt the front suspension. Going with clip-on handlebars instead of the original big bars. To be honest, I thought the bars that came on these bikes stock were just too bloody big. They were too tall. Because I've got long arms, they put my arms at a weird position. Like I was literally riding down the road like this, with my elbows in front of my chest. It was very uncomfortable. So clip-on bars, because I really like the cafe/sporty feel. I'm sure I've said this all before, but I'll say it again. I love the more compact, lower center of mass. It's, if you've got clip-ons, your steering input is more direct. And the bike is way more maneuverable. You can flip it back and forth real easy. And this bike, with the geometry that it has, with the weight distribution it has, and the size it has, it's really begging for that. So that's what we went with. Again, you'll notice some of the stuff is kind of the same. You've seen it elsewhere. You've seen it on other projects. For example, you'll recognize these side marker lights. They're the same ones I just put on the Heritage. You'll recognize the mirrors. Same thing. I just had them on the Heritage. The same style grips as I've used on a few of the bikes. Recognize the adjustable levers and perches, aftermarket. These are actually from Neverland Moto, which I believe is now defunct. It's kind of sad, but kind of cool that I still have the parts. Back here, I made my own tail section. Because it's a cafe racer, and because this bike never liked having a passenger anyway, I'm basically making it to be a one-person motorcycle. Now, I am still keeping the pegs for the passenger, so technically I could have a second person on it. It would just be a little on the uncomfortable side, and they'd be sitting on metal. Also, but like I said, chances you're probably not going to take a passenger on this all that much. If I do, it's going to be like emergency situation or spur of the moment type of thing. Not going to be a bike I plan to take a passenger on a long ride for. But again, because I'm going from pretty much nothing, you can customize it. And what's actually fun, at least fun to me, is this frame, and it's hard to really tell, but this frame is actually not a Maxim frame. This frame is actually the frame from a Seika. Now the Seika was a slightly sportier model of the XS400. It has a slightly longer tank. The foot pegs were in a slightly different position. And the back seat was a little on the different side. Tail was vastly different. So when I went and I bought it, oops, wrong frame, it also allowed me to customize things just a little bit more, and it's really not that bad. And it's actually going to work out better because now the foot pegs are in a slightly better position for me. So this is going to be the next big build that I'm working on. Most of it's done. Like I said, the engine's rebuilt. It's just a lot of electrical and final finish things. And now, because I've worked on other motorcycles since doing this, like working on the Heritage, I got a couple other new ideas that I want to integrate into this bike that's going to make it that much nicer. Now, unlike the Heritage or unlike the Intruder that I did in the past, I built those bikes with the plan of selling them. Needless to say, given the history of this bike, I don't plan on selling it. This is going to be one of my bikes. This is going to be one of the fleet. I know some people would say, how many motorcycles do you need when you got only one ass? But this one, it's got a special place in my heart. Much like my 87 Volvo 245, I don't want to part with this one. I don't think I'll ever want to part with this one. So I'm hoping you guys are looking forward to this. Like I said, I realize it's mostly done, and to watch the old videos, which please do, there's going to be a link down below for a playlist of all the videos for this build. I realize it's kind of a time travel thing now, but why start it all over? I think it's going to be great to get this bike all finished, though. I've been dying to ride this bike again, and especially after working on the Heritage, which, like I said, it's an XS400. It's same basic platform, just this one's slightly bigger and slightly more powerful because it's got the dual overhead cam, and the carburetors are slightly different. And of course, with things I've been doing on it, it's going to be even more powerful, which is always good. But working on that bike really made me want to get back to working on this bike, to get back to riding this bike, because as much fun as the Heritage is, I can't imagine this is going to be anything less. In fact, I expect this to be way more fun. So yeah, I hope you guys are looking forward to it. If you are, please make sure that you hit the like button. And if you're not already subscribed, please hit subscribe, hit the notification button so you get notified when I upload a video. Hopefully this build isn't going to take us that long, because like I said, most of it's already kind of done. I've got some stuff obviously I'm going to do and change up and everything like that. But hopefully it won't be too much longer until this bike is actually on the road. I'll be able to ride it again. And, oh, I can't wait to ride it again. I'm really looking forward to the first ride on this motorcycle again. Figure it's been over 15 years. So it's I can't imagine it's not going to be really emotional for me to get back on this bike and ride it again. So I hope you guys will all follow along as we get this bike going again. Revive it. You know, there's a reason I call it the Phoenix, because this thing was completely totaled, and when I'm all done, it's going to be back to life, back on the road, and better than it ever was. So stay tuned. Hope you guys are looking forward to it. Hope you guys enjoy it. See you next time. Keep rocking and rolling. I'm going to keep taking care of business. See you next one.